As an artist who's now an aunt, it's my duty to make cool stuff for my niece, and my sister's nursery is Little Mermaid themed, so she found this painting by Thomas Kincaid. I don't think I said that right. But she really liked it and she wanted me to make a painting inspired by that, and I love paintings that are half underwater like this. I've done one before that I collabed with my boyfriend on. This painting has not one, but 2 castles. It has 11 characters from the movie, and I also snuck in 2 hidden characters from a TV show, SpongeBob. Spoiler alert. But we'll get to that later. This is acrylic paint, and this took me 9.5 hours total. I had to bust out like every technique that I know. Like I used some dry brushing in the clouds here to make the fuzzy, less defined ones. And just like all my childhood drawings, I put a sun up there in the corner with the rays coming out of it. But I tried to do a more grown-up version and make it look somewhat realistic. And we've got Prince Eric's castle over here. And ever since I painted this castle, I've been recognizing it throughout like the Disney parks here and there. And beforehand, I would have had no idea. Like if you asked me what Prince Eric's castle looked like before this, I would have not been able to tell you. But turns out it's in the queue for the Little Mermaid dark ride in Magic Kingdom. So that's pretty cool. You get to like walk past it, right up against it. And speaking of the Little Mermaid's presence in the Disney parks, they recently came out with an updated show for the Little Mermaid in Hollywood Studios, and I went and saw it with Jaden, and it was really good. It changed my perspective on what a show could be because of the way they incorporated the screens and the projections in front of everybody. And also with the way that she was swimming across the stage. It did break down at one point, and I had no idea a show could break down, but I guess it makes sense when there's so many different technical elements to it. It was right before Ursula came out, so I assume it was something to do with her. But anyway, back to the painting. I mix water in with my paint a lot of the time to help make it more smooth and to help blend it out. And I'm also really proud of these tiny trees I put on the balcony up here, especially these tiny palm trees. And the staircase is pretty small too, but as you can see to the right, there's going to be even smaller buildings eventually. Now, this is Prince Eric's ship, or at least like the ship owned by maybe his dad or something. I have no idea. I used screenshots from that scene to do this, and it doesn't really make sense when you think about it because Prince Eric is in the foreground of this painting. If you remember from the sketch in the beginning, he's in the boat with Ariel from the Kiss the Girl scene, which is in a totally different environment than the ocean. It seems more like swampy. I took some creative liberties here. We're gonna have to suspend some disbelief and just go with the flow so we can get all these cute elements in one painting. This is the part in the video where I realized I need to film some different type of shots, and it felt weird filming myself, so then I went back to filming the painting, and I'm doing little pink cherry blossom trees, which are in the movie, or at least in the screenshot that I was using, and that makes me happy because there's not much pink anywhere else in this painting. And we're back at it again with the tiny little tree trunks. Tree trunks from Adventure Time is pretty tiny. And here come the tiny buildings from the town beyond, which I don't think we ever get to see much of the inside of the town in the movie, if any at all. What kind of secrets are they hiding in that town? Do we even know the name of the town? It's like Gravity Falls up there. It's a mystery town. Now moving on to the top of the water, and it is daunting. It seems really hard to paint water when you're looking at it, but when you break it down, it's pretty much just a bunch of horizontal short lines with a little bit of a wave in them, which makes sense because there's a bunch of waves in the water. But as far as the shading goes, I really had no idea what I was doing when it comes to where to put the light and the dark lines. I just kind of winged it and it turned out decently. And like I mentioned earlier, if you feel weird about the Kiss the Girl boat being in the ocean, I feel a little weird about it too, but it's like a mishmash of everything. I'm sure Atlantica is not this close to Prince Eric's castle in reality. And if I thought painting the ocean was hard, painting humans is even harder. I don't paint people. That's not my thing. I do natural things, I do landscapes, organic things, animals, people. It's so hard to get the proportions right. And Prince Eric, he looked a little funky, I'm not gonna lie. There's just something stiff about him. Something about the neck is maybe it's too wide also, I don't know. And then I put Flounder kind of poking out of the water, looking at Eric and Ariel. And he's so stinking cute. He has such a great, iconic character design, and oh my god, I would love to see a mashup of him and Nemo because they both have these cute little chubby cheeks. They just both have a very similar vibe to them. I think they would be friends. I didn't really do anything special for the beach. I just put some like sand lumps and shadows here and there. But I did put Sebastian on the corner of the beach next to Flounder, and they're both Ariel's sidekicks, so I think they should be together supporting her in her big moment, just like they were in the movie. I was a little nervous to tackle the underwater part, I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't sure how I wanted to handle the colors. When you're underwater, everything is not as vibrant. It has a little bit of a blue hue over top of it, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're painting because with things like the Atlantica castle, for example, it's yellow. So when you want to add a blue tint to it, it could turn the castle green, and I wanted to avoid that at all costs. So since it was right under the sun and all the rays were going to be shining under the water like I just decided to keep it as yellow as possible and then add some blue to the shadows to help make that illusion, hopefully, possibly. I'm completely self-taught. I took elementary school through high school, like art classes, but as far as these techniques go, I mean, Bob Ross is the one who taught me a lot of these. We did do some painting in school, but it was more about exploring a bunch of different art mediums. We did some drawing, we did some sculpting, did some collages and stuff like that. But I went through a Bob Ross phase and I learned quite a bit from it. Here's part 3 of making tiny plants. It's this tiny coral under the water here. And I was also pretty proud of my line work on this coral to the right. I did all of that with one brush stroke up until this point. And here's where I snuck in SpongeBob and Patrick. And the other 2 things down there are just seashells to help kind of blend them together with everything. And then I started on Ariel's sisters, and I started to cover up what I was painting a lot, so I just edited it like this. I hate saying that, but that's what I did. For some reason, drawing mermaids is a lot easier than drawing humans. I mean, I guess the tail helps a lot because you can take a little bit of a artistic liberty there, being a fish and all. Fish come in all different sorts of shapes and sizes. Who's to say what kind of fish they are on the bottom half? Also, how and why are they all different colors? Now I'm putting faces on all of them, and the camera is far away from it for a reason. And as soon as I started to paint King Triton, I adjusted my grip, and that happened. I just wiped it with my finger. Why? I panicked, that's why. Then I took some water on a clean brush and scrubbed the crap out of it. And I blotted it with a paper towel and just painted some blue back over top because it was just pretty much flat blue back there. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then I got back to work on King Triton. I noticed some water spots up in the sky and I just covered them with some clouds. And this is what the painting looks like. It was pretty hard to not have Under the Sea stuck in my head while painting and editing this. And good luck not having it stuck in your head too now. This is one of 2 paintings I'm working on for my sister and her daughter Peyton. The other one is a 6-foot long Alice in Wonderland painting. It's gonna go in her playroom that my mom is decorating. And I'm gonna have that done hopefully sometime soon-ish, in the near-ish future-ish. I'll keep you updated, but in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.